Attention passionate Green Bay Packers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Green Bay Packers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Green Bay Packers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Green Bay Packers fans. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, today we're diving into some pretty intriguing NFL news that could shake up the NFC North and more specifically, the Green Bay Packers roster. We all know the Packers have had a fascinating offseason, full of strategic moves, and now we're seeing the ripple effects of those decisions. One recent development that's catching a lot of attention is the trade involving Dontayvion Wicks, a young wide receiver with a promising upside, but who has yet to fully establish himself in the league. This move might seem minor on the surface, but when you dig a little deeper, it's part of a bigger story about the Packers' roster management, their draft capital, and how they're positioning themselves for the future. Let's start with Wicks himself. Drafted in the 5th round of the 2023 NFL Draft, Wicks showed flashes of potential in college at the University of Virginia, and the Packers saw enough in him to select him with that mid-round pick. But let's be honest, his NFL debut season has been somewhat underwhelming. In Week 1, Wicks played just 22 snaps, ran 9 routes, and was targeted only twice. That's not exactly the kind of impact you hope for from a 5th-round pick, especially a guy with his physical tools and college production. Still, it's crucial to remember that rookies, especially wide receivers, often need time to develop, and Wicks has shown that he has some of the traits that could make him a valuable asset down the line. However, the Packers coaching staff and front office seem to be a bit cautious about rushing him into a bigger role. Given that, it's understandable that they might be willing to part ways, especially if they believe they can get some draft capital back in return. Now, on the flip side, the Atlanta Falcons are in a different spot. With Darnell Mooney already sidelined with a shoulder injury, and the fact that he's currently out of action, the Falcons are clearly looking to add some depth at wide receiver. They already tried Casey Washington, a former 6th-round pick, but let's be honest, Washington has never really shown consistent production, and he's never surpassed 50 yards in a season. So bringing in Wicks makes a lot of sense for Atlanta. He's a player with a lot of upside, and at this stage of his career, he's still raw but talented. The Falcons are betting on his potential to develop, especially given their current injury situation. If you look at the numbers, Wicks has some interesting stats from his college days, ranking 4th in ESPN's open score last season at 84, which indicates he has the athletic tools and skill set to get open and make plays. And as a receiver, he's shown flashes of explosiveness and route-running ability. The main question is whether he can put it all together consistently at the NFL level. Now, let's talk about the specifics of this potential trade. The Packers, given their current roster situation and the fact that Wicks hasn't been heavily utilized so far, would likely be satisfied with a deal involving a couple of late-round picks. The suggested trade, as some analysts speculate, involves the Packers receiving a 2027 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick. It might seem like a small return, but for Green Bay, it's a way to recoup some draft capital they can use to continue building their roster, especially considering that Wicks has yet to cross the 600-yard receiving mark in his NFL career. Last year, he finished with just 39 catches for 415 yards and 5 touchdowns, numbers that are certainly not eye-popping, but show he has the potential to grow. For the Falcons, this move is about adding a project receiver who could develop into a significant weapon in their offense. With Drake London dealing with a shoulder sprain and considered day-to-day, the Falcons are in need of depth at wide receiver. Wicks, with his speed and ability to get open, could be a valuable third option, especially if he can develop chemistry with quarterback Drake London or whoever is under center. The Falcons have shown they're willing to invest in players with high upside, and Wicks fits that mold perfectly. His college stats and athletic profile suggest he's a player who could crack 600 yards if given the opportunity, especially with a quarterback like Drake Penix Jr. At Washington's helm, if Wicks finds the right system and gets the necessary reps. Now, let's not forget the broader context here. The Packers have always been a team that values draft capital, especially in the early and middle rounds, and they've been strategic about how they develop their young players. Moving Wicks now might be a sign that they feel confident in their current receiver room, or that they're looking to give other young players more opportunities. It's also a reflection of the competitive nature of the NFL, where roster management is constantly evolving, and every move is made with an eye on the future. And speaking of the future, it's worth noting that Wicks, despite his modest stats so far, has shown enough to keep NFL teams interested. His potential upside, especially as a route runner and deep threat, makes him an intriguing piece for the Falcons' offense. If he lands in a system that can develop his skills, he could very well surpass his previous production and become a more consistent contributor. Remember, many NFL stars took time to develop, and this could be Wicks' chance to do just that. Of course, this isn't just about Wicks. It's about how the Packers are shaping their roster, how the NFL landscape is shifting, and what this means for division rivals. The NFC North is more competitive than ever, with the Vikings, Lions, and Bears all making significant moves, and the Packers are no longer just sitting back. They're making strategic decisions, adjusting their roster, and positioning themselves for a run at the playoffs, and hopefully, another Super Bowl appearance. The trade also highlights how the NFL is a league of constant movement. Players like Wicks, who may not have found their full stride yet, are often the pieces that can change a franchise's fortunes if given the right opportunity. For the Packers, this is about managing their roster efficiently, recouping draft capital, and trusting their young talent to develop. For Atlanta, it's about filling a need and betting on Wicks' potential to blossom. So, as we look ahead, it's fascinating to see how this move could impact not just the two teams involved, but the division and even the conference as a whole. The Packers continue to build with an eye on the future, and Wicks might just be a player who benefits from that patience and strategic planning. It's a reminder of how dynamic and unpredictable the NFL can be, and that's what makes following this league so exciting every single season. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YOUTUB algorithm to keep recommending the latest Green Bay Packers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Green Bay Packers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you think moving Wicks is the right move for the Packers, or do you see him as a future star in the making? Drop your thoughts down below in the comments because your opinion really matters, not just to us, but to the entire Packers community. Do you believe this move will give the Packers a boost or open up new questions about their receiver room? And of course, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for all the latest Green Bay Packers news. Whether it's roster moves, game analysis, or draft predictions, we're here to keep you informed and engaged as the Packers continue their journey this season. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Pack Go!